All right, everyone, welcome to my In the Bag. I'm Simon Lizotte here, Team Discmania, and what better way to start than with showing my bag, which I finally got a signature grip bag. It's been a handful of years since my last one, so I'm really proud to show you the Angry Ape, and I think, if you're lucky, there might be still some available. My bag is a very fluent concept. It changes a lot. I always say the further you throw, if you miss your line, the further your throw goes in the water or in the bushes or off the property. So I tend to lose a lot of discs, unfortunately. But that makes for more interesting in the bags because it's always going to be a bit different. Here are my putting putters. I switched putters, I think already 5 times this year. So putting is a mental game. And I'm back to the basics. I got some original Discmania D-Line P2s. Discmania actually sent me a box of 10 with 2 of each of like 5 different colors. And I've been putting at home, putting games, trying to see which color works best for me. And right now I'm with the grays. And I actually wiped the stamp off because I found that when I'm lining up my putts, the stamp annoys me. It's mental, but it's true. So I chose to putt with blank putters, right now the dark gray, and then I also have a really sweet same disc with a little SL stamp in the bottom. I think the little bottom stamp is really cute, and those are actually available also right now at the Discmania in Europe and in the USA. Throwing putters up next. You might know this one very well. On the New England courses, I love throwing the old school P1X, aka P1 Ace. This is the most beaten disc by far in my bag. The bead that this disc once had is basically completely gone, and it is so understable. I love throwing it on a slight hyzer to flip up, and it'll just glide forever and turning right. It basically has 0 fade. It goes to the right at the end instead of the left if I throw it on the back end, and it's just a special disc in my bag. I want to say it's by far the oldest disc in my bag at this point. Then for the overstable upshots, straight to overstable, this is a brand new C-Line P2. This is actually going to be the Sky God 4, which are in production right now. They're being stamped probably as we speak. So this is one of the prototypes, just a nice Discmania bar stamp. And you know, the original red Ferrari. Really good new P2s. All right, moving on to the mid-ranges. I currently carry 4 mid-ranges in my bag. I'm going to start with most overstable to most understable. And then more or less new in my bag, I have an awesome, shout out to Lore Discs, awesome die. I have a Mutant, which is, I almost want to call it the tilt of mid-ranges. It's not obviously that crazy, but any wind, any power, this is as predictable and reliable as a mid-range will get. And I love the way it feels with the bead and the cornered edges. It's just a really awesome tool to have, especially in the windy days we're playing right now. Up next, actually a disc I haven't been messing around with too much, but the new Lux Methods. And this is also a cool Montenegro stamp, Paul Macbeth Foundation shout out. These Lux Methods feel super good in the hand. I think I'm yet to throw it in tournament. This is more like a practice warm-up disc right now, but I love how it feels, and they're very overstable and predictable so far. So who knows? Maybe it'll stay in the bag, maybe it won't. Up next, this is a special one. The new C-Line MD1s. This was the 15-year anniversary disc for Discmania when they came out. And here we have some nice SL stamps, the pink ones. Comes with a nice little dome to it. And I have to say, the second I felt this disc, I thought, wow, obviously feels great. And then I threw it and I called UC and I said, can this be my next signature disc? Because just everything from the field to the flight, this is a total point and shoot. You can mess with every angle and the disc is just super true and super reliable. And maybe it'll be my next signature disc, who knows? And last but not least, one of my all-time favorite discs to throw as of right now is the Kyle Klein Midnight Prowl Origin. So these actually turned out a bit more understable than the stock stamped Origins, which just made me a bit more convinced about this because it's more predictably understable, if you know what I mean. Like, I can throw this straight and I know every time it's gonna give me that nice left to right turn, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I love throwing this in the woods. In these windy tournaments out here, probably not getting that much action, but on my home courses, Maple Hill, I throw this disc all the time on a super hyzer, flip up to flat, and then it just rides. This disc has amazing glide, has actually some speed to it too, so this will go further than any other of my mid-ranges if thrown properly, but extremely fun because it just has this little frisbee glide and turn. Shout out to Kyle Klein. Onto the Fairway Drivers. And this is another disc that I've had in my bag for a pretty long time now. I'm not sure how long, at least a season and a half. And it is one of my favorite dies of all time. This is an old school S-Line FD. We have Elsa, we have Anna, and on her shirt it says, I heart Simon. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a special disc and it's pretty straight, slightly understable, but I have a lot of confidence in this disc. I'll throw this with a fan grip. Don't feel too comfortable with the power grip on these, but throw it on a slight hyzer, pop it up to flat. And I don't need to do a speech here on what FDs are. Everyone knows and loves them. They're one of the greatest fairway drivers of all time. Up next, I have a new C-Line FD. And if you saw one of the previews of this disc, I said it's one of the best FDs ever made, straight out of the box. I'm not saying this because I'm paid to say it. These discs are absolutely phenomenal. Tons of glide, and without any effort, maybe a slight bit of effort, they go so far, and this is the only driver I would ever recommend for a beginner player. I think people should start with mid-ranges and putters, but this is the fairway driver of, the mid-range of fairway drivers. That's what I wanted to say. So yeah, maybe a slight bit more understable than my S-Line. Let's go with Doombird 2. I've probably had this disc in most of my in the bags recently, and my favorite run of Doombirds. Super overstable, reliable, predictable. This is a disc for the win. This is a disc for power players. This is a disc that you can throw on forehand, backhand, on turnover angles, and it'll swing back. One of the big workhorses in my bag. And then lastly, a super fun kind of trick shot, roller, Skamahawk disc, get you out of trouble disc is the Active Line Genius. This is on purpose, the base plastic. They beat in faster, they're more unstable, they even get like weird shapes to it if you hit a couple trees. And they fly so funky, it's just fun. And you need a crazy disc in your bag. And I actually break this out at least once or twice per tournament, sometimes even per round. Love the Genius. Okay, one of my favorite discs in my bag right now. This is like between Fairway Driver and Distance Driver. This is a really old and really cool dual color first run C-Line PD. I don't know what to say about this disc. The C-Line PDs, the first runs are board flat, overstable, straight to overstable, and the plastic just feels as money as you can get it. They got it right when they made this one. All right, then a new disc to my bag, which is a pretty special stamp. We got Lizotte and Eagle. That's probably hard to find. And this is the Neo Splice. Right now, this kind of replaced the tilt in my bag. I'm sure the tilt will make a comeback, but this is pretty much the little brother to the Tilt. It's way beyond the FD3 and just slightly below the Tilt. Absolute crazy overstable. I don't think, I've used it for a couple scramble shots here and there in tournaments, but they might be even a bit too overstable for me. But it's a really cool disc. And finally, on to the distance drivers. My bag used to be just stacked with PD2s, and now my bag, I can't really call it stacked, but I have 3 DD3s in my bag and 2 PD2s. Starting with the DD3s, one of the coolest dies in the history of dies. I have, this is actually a really old run of DD3s, and a tattoo artist dyed this for me, which is just the coolest little eagle stamp, and it's pretty understable. I use this for my sidearms. If I would throw a distance roller, I would probably pull this one out, and hyzer flips. Pretty understable DD3. These here are my 2 workhorses for any distance shots on the course. This one is a prototype C-line DD3, which has no stamp. It has the 3 zeros on the back on the weight. So it's a total prototype, and I'm sorry you won't be able to find this, but I like how they feel. Comes with a super nice dome and is a point and shoot distance driver. One of the best distance driver ever made. DD3 crusher. And we have a Cloudbreaker 3. This is the new S-line, or it's like a hybrid between C-line and S-line, I think. But the DD3s are total bombers. What I've noticed is that the color of the new discs actually makes a difference in how they fly. And I found that the white ones and the gray ones are the most overstable. And if you know the courses we play on with the wind and our power, we're looking for overstable. So this one has a nice pop top to it. You can hear it, and they go very, very far. I throw this a lot. All right, and finally, we got 2 PD2s in the bag, mainly because of the courses we play nowadays and the windy conditions. I need these discs, and this is the one I throw the most. It's a very old school Lizotte stamp. If I had to guess, 2016, 2017 run of C-line PD2s, and it's not, by far not the most overstable disc in my bag, but it's slightly more than those DD3s. And that's just sometimes what I need for the confidence off the tee. I've actually been throwing this a lot in the last couple of events out here, and I'm sure I'm gonna throw it this weekend as well out here in Emporia. But it's nowhere near as overstable as my last disc in the bag, which is a Luster C-line PD2 Leo Pirinen European Champion Edition. And if you're looking for the most overstable PD2s out there, Luster and Metal Flake are the meat hooks. And yeah, this disc is no joke. I can throw this as hard as I want, pretty much into any wind, and it'll reliably give me the right to left finish, which that's what we need on the course. And that's the distance drivers for me. And that's what's in my bag right now. I really am enjoying what I'm working with. I can't wait for the factory to ramp up even more, getting more molds, getting the new plastic out, because everything I've felt, everything I've seen is just so promising and something to look forward to. Huge shout out to Grip Equipment. I just signed a new 2-year deal with them, so I'm excited about that. They're awesome to work with. And of course, Discmania, thank you for everything. The future is so bright for everyone involved, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of years on Team Discmania. And of course, all you guys watching, supporting, all the messages, social media, thank you all for the incredible support. You know, without you guys, we wouldn't be out here and doing anything. So hope you enjoyed the In the Bag, and see you in the next one.